Six Flags loves the name Goliath, but the version at Six Flags Over Georgia is the best one in my opinion. Goliath is the park's Bolliger Mabillard hypercoaster. B&M hypers are revered for their floater airtime, but sometimes knocked for their pacing issues and trim breaks. Goliath has all the floater airtime you could ever want, but it also resolves the later two issues. Find out why Goliath is this Atlanta park's best attraction in this review. Goliath opened in 2006, and this was built at the tail end of the chain's spree of massive investments. From 1990 through 2006, Six Flags is one of B&M's top customers, sometimes ordering multiple coasters per year. In 2006 alone, Six Flags ordered 3 different $20 million B&Ms for their parks, among other rides like El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Six Flags first used the name Goliath on Six Flags Magic Mountain's Giovanola Hyper, and they've since used the name 6 more times. Six Flags used the name twice alone in 2006, once for Over Georgia's Goliath, and then again for a very similar mega coaster at La Ronde. Needless to say, it can be confusing which version of Goliath you're referring to, but the one at Over Georgia is the best one in my opinion. This coaster has zero theming. It just has a bare station with the ride sign on top of it. However, the placement of this coaster is excellent. The lift starts adjacent to the midway, but the entire layout then runs alongside the main entrance and roadway into the park. This creates a really cool entry experience as you drive under the park's largest coaster. It creates a lot of kinetic energy and hypes you up for your day. Goliath is exactly 200 feet or 61 meters tall, so it barely qualifies as a hypercoaster. But the ride feels considerably taller because it towers over Georgia's Scorcher and the nearby trees. Speaking of trees, I also like how a few of the valleys are tucked between trees or placed over ponds. These elements enhance the sense of speed and serve as a scenic contrast to the other drops that are literally placed above active roadways. The coaster's location and varying visuals are a major plus for me. Goliath's orange and teal paint scheme really popped in its early years, but it has since faded. Hopefully that can get freshened up in the near future. The other funny thing is the amount of loose articles you see below the track. Goliath has netting beneath much of the track because of how it goes over the road and several midways, so you'll see a litany of membership passes and cell phones just hanging there. Goliath has excellent capacity. The ride features 9-car trains with 4 riders in each row, meaning the coaster can seat up to 36 riders per train. The park owns 2 trains, and they always seem to run both. I visited on a rainy day so quiet last year that I could stay on the train for a half hour straight. The park very well could have gotten away with running 1 train, but they still had 2 going. And this coaster rarely stacks. They have a countdown clock, and the crew usually is ready to go before it hits 0. With no seatbelts and just the simple B&M clamshell harness, these trains are a breeze to check. These are some of my favorite restraints for both their efficiency and comfort. This is one of the park's most popular coasters though. Most days this coaster will have at least a 20 to 30 minute wait. There is signage for a single rider line once you reach the station, but I've never seen it in use. But by that point, I'd rather just wait for the row you want because the wait is about over. I have a slight preference for the back for the slightly better first half, but the second half may be a little better up front, so I recommend trying both. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the 20-story lift hill. You get a great view of the park to your right, and once you reach the top, the real action begins. The first drop is 170 feet or 52 meters tall, and it offers great sustained floater airtime towards the back. It's the prototypical B&M Hyper first drop. The pullout induces some solid positive Gs, but it's also rattly. Most of Goliath tracks smoothly, but the first 3 valleys all have a noticeable shake to them. That is the ride's only real weakness in my opinion. The second camelback is a massive one, giving decent sustained floater airtime up front. Then the descent is actually a little larger than the first drop. Despite this, the airtime actually feels a little weaker, but it's still very good. The third hill is another large camelback. The front gets similar airtime to the prior hill, while the back gets stronger floater airtime on the descent. The pullout then skims over a pond, and then you hit Goliath's signature element, the toilet bowl turnaround. This may be the best turnaround B&M has ever devised. It's up there with the treble clef on Fury. It starts with half a camelback, so everyone levitates out of their seat. You are then abruptly snapped sideways, and then back down into your seat, as you navigate a forceful 540-degree downwards helix. The helix is super compact at the start, before fanning outwards, but it's profiled such that it sustains strong positive Gs for 7 or 8 straight seconds. This is a very strong grayout moment, and it's the best such moment on any B&M Hyper without a doubt. The bottom of this helix features a set of trim brakes. You'll hear them, but they never slow the train down, so Goliath hauls through the return run. The fourth hill jumps over a tree, giving everyone solid sustained floater airtime. That is followed by a 90-degree turn to the right, and if you're in the back, you will get some snap through the element. Goliath then flies over 3 consecutive bunny hills. These hills are significantly smaller than the prior camelbacks, and each one gets even smaller. The first one jumps over the road, the second goes over Georgia Scorcher, and the third one goes over the midway. All 3 hills give the strongest floater airtime on Goliath. I love how Goliath saves its strongest airtime for the very end. It's the opposite of most B&M Hypers. This trio of bunny hills is followed by a delightfully jerky finale. It's smooth, but the final 2 elements are far tighter and more compact than any of the elements you're used to in a B&M Hyper. You have this quick turn to the left that slams you down with good positive Gs, and then you have this little hop into the brake run that gives an abrupt pop of airtime. It really catches you off guard after that onslaught of sustained floater airtime. The ending is uncharacteristic for a B&M, but I enjoy it. This ends the 4,480 foot or 1,370 meter long coaster. You then return to the station, and if you're lucky, you can ride again. Otherwise, you'll have a long walk down the exit ramp. One of the most striking things about Goliath is its pacing. B&M Hypers have 4 possible pacing issues, but Goliath solves each and every one of them. 1. The trains sometimes lose a lot of speed over the camelbacks. This is why I tend to prefer the older ones in the back, but Goliath cruises over all its hills. 2. The turnaround. These hammerhead turnarounds are usually okay at best, but Goliath turned one of the weakest parts in the ride into its highlight with that toilet bowl turnaround. 3. The mid-course brake run. This is a brief intermission mid-ride that disrupts the action and can slow you down, but Goliath does not have one of these. 4. The trim brakes. Most B&M Hypers have adjustable trims on a few of the camelbacks. Goliath only has one, and it does diddly squat. The end result is a coaster that holds its speed and power start to finish. So what would I rate Goliath? I would give this B&M Hyper a 9 out of 10. This is a very strong coaster. Goliath is a floater airtime machine. You have massive drops at the start and powerful bunny hills at the end. Then you also have some underrated positive Gs, most notably on the super intense helix turnaround. Finally, Goliath has excellent pacing and interesting visuals because of its location. These make it one of B&M's best hypercoasters, and also my favorite ride at Six Flags Over Georgia. The lone flaw with this ride is the shuffle in the first 3 valleys, but the rest of the ride is darn near flawless and it does everything you can want from a hyper like this. So those are my thoughts on Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia. What are your thoughts on this B&M Hyper? Do you agree it's one of the better hypercoasters out there? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.